Welcome back to Westminster in London, and a momentous day in British politics. Liz Truss may not be a name familiar to most people around the world, but she will become the next British Prime Minister, replacing Boris Johnson, who's pretty much known by everyone following a vote by party members. She's a low-tax evangelist who models herself on Margaret Thatcher. Joining me now is Richard Johnson. He's a politics lecturer at Queen Mary University in London. How else, Richard, would you describe her for people who've never even heard of her?
She's a much more ideological figure than Boris Johnson. She's also, I think, a less well-established performer. I don't think her charisma matches that of Boris Johnson. I thought her delivery today was pretty wooden. She also lacks some of the mandate that Johnson had within the Conservative Party, and what I mean by that is she wasn't the choice of Conservative MPs. And actually, the size of her victory, although substantial in terms of the historic record, was one of the smallest victories among the membership of the Conservative Party. So, I think she has some weaknesses already that she's coming in with that she's going to have to overcome and prove herself in the months and years to come.
By giving us detail, right? She needs to give detail on the sort of actions she keeps talking about that she's going to act upon, particularly the energy crisis. She's saying there'll be an announcement by the end of the week, but her big opportunity to lay out her stall, as it were, will be tomorrow, won't it? Late afternoon, we expect her speaking in Downing Street as she enters number 10 for the first time as Prime Minister.
Absolutely. This leadership contest has been going on. We spoke 2 months ago as Boris Johnson was on his way out. We really aren't that much the wiser as to what the programme of the government's going to be. There have been a lot of debates and hustings that Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss have had over the last few weeks, but they've been pretty light on detail. We know kind of the big picture things that Liz Truss believes in, low taxes. She's not a fan of some of the green regulation that she associates the previous Prime Minister with. There's going to be some continuity on things like Ukraine. But in terms of what the concrete details of her package on energy, how she's going to resolve the situation in Northern Ireland, she's held her cards close to her chest. Perhaps she's been managing expectations, and perhaps in the next week or two, we'll see a flurry of announcements that will sort of make us forget that we didn't have the detail. But at the moment, it's still, things are very fuzzy coming out of this campaign.
She also got through on a very small vote of tens of thousands of people, and she was speaking to a very specific group of Conservatives and telling them what they wanted to hear. Frankly, it's going to be a much bigger challenge, isn't it, in a general election, which she does plan to fight in a couple of years, and convincing the whole of society to support which for many are niche views.
And I'll tell you, I think if there was another candidate in this Conservative leadership contest, I think he could have blown Liz Truss out of the water, and that was Boris Johnson. I think if Boris Johnson had been on the ballot, I think the Conservative membership, not the MPs, but the membership, probably would have voted for him. And I think that her main credential for getting elected in the membership contest was that she remained loyal to Boris Johnson when it was perceived that Rishi Sunak did not, because he resigned and called for Boris Johnson to resign. So that's a very different story from the one that she's now going to have to put herself forward to the country, which has a much lower opinion of Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson's approval rating has been low for many months now. She can't rely on that linkage, and she's got to really address the crisis that's gripping this country. If she can, she can prove herself because expectations are low, but it's a huge crisis, and she could be overwhelmed by events, and that's the risk that she faces.
Okay, Richard Johnson at Queen Mary University, thank you very much indeed.